Hello everyone. In this lecture video, we will understand what is service level agreement in cloud computing. So, SLA, that is a service level agreement, is a formal legal agreement between the customer, that is the end user, the person or the organization using the cloud service, and the cloud service provider, CSP, that is the company providing the cloud service. It ensures that both sides clearly understand what to expect. Now, here it clearly defines what service will be provided. That is exactly what the cloud provider is offering. It includes the type of service, that is the storage, computing, then database, networking, and also features like backup, security, scalability, and the access methods like web, mobile, and API. For example, if you use cloud storage, the service level agreement may state 100 GB storage space, file sharing support, data backup facility. So this will avoid confusion about what you are paying for. Then next is how well it will be provided. That is how well it will be provided. That is the how it will provide the performance and the quality. It defines the quality level of the service, often called as QoS, that is the quality of service. It includes uptime guarantee and the speed and response time, reliability, and the consistency. For example, website will be available 99.9% of the time. Response time will be less than 2 seconds. So this ensures the service is not just available but efficient and reliable. Now, what happens if the service fails? That is, it explains the penalty or the compensation if the provider fails to meet the service level agreement. It includes refunds or service credits, compensation for downtime, issue resolution timeliness. Now, for example, if the service uptime drops below 99%, the provider gives 10% fee refund. Issues will be resolved within 24 hours. So this protects the customer from poor service. Now last is the rights and the responsibilities of both the sides. That is, it defines who is responsible for what. Like the customer responsibilities will be proper usage of the service, not violating terms, that is for example illegal activities, and the timely payment. And the provider responsibilities will be maintaining the service quality, ensuring the data security, providing the support and the maintenance. So this avoids the disputes and ensures smooth operation. Now we'll see one real-time example here. Suppose imagine you take admission in a hostel and they will promise you, that is they will provide 24-hour water supply. This means the hostel promises that water will be available all the time, day and night. If water stops frequently, then students will face problems, that is bathing, drinking, cleaning, and the hostel management is failing to meet the promises. So in cloud computing, this is like service availability, that is the uptime. The service should always be accessible. Now second is Wi-Fi. They have promised 24/7 Wi-Fi. That is, it will provide internet access to the students. It should work properly, have good speed, be available most of the time. If Wi-Fi is slow or not working, students cannot study or complete the work. They can raise a complaint. So in cloud computing, this is like network performance and the speed. Then comes the security, where the hostel assures safety of students and their belongings. This includes security guards, CCTV cameras, restricted entry for outsiders. If the security is weak, there will be a risk of theft or danger, and the danger increases. So in cloud computing, this is like the data security and the protection. Then comes the clean rooms. So here the hostel promises regular cleaning and the maintenance, and it includes sweeping and mopping, then cleaning the bathrooms, garbage removal. If rooms are not clean, students feel uncomfortable and health issues may arise. So in cloud computing, this is like system maintenance and the reliability. Now here comes the agreement. That is, the promises are written in an agreement and all these facilities are officially written in a document when you join the hostel. Why it is important? Because it should not create any confusion about what is promised, and both student and hostel have the proof. In cloud computing, this written document is called as service level agreement. So now suppose if Wi-Fi doesn't work, then what happens? You can report the issue, ask for it to be fixed, or demand the action, and in some cases you may get compensation or the fee reduction. So in cloud computing, this is like the penalty or the compensation when service fails. That is, the hostel agreement here is the service level agreement. Hostel facilities are like the cloud services. Student here is the customer, and hostel management is the cloud service provider. So this example helps the students understand what is SLA, that is the written promises about the service, plus what happens if the promises are not met. Next, why SLA is important. So first we will see why it is important from the customer point of view. Before choosing a cloud provider, customers must compare the service level agreements. That is, before selecting any cloud service, customers carefully study and compare the service level agreements. This will help them choose the most reliable and suitable provider. Now, suppose a bank wants to move its data and the services to the cloud service. Now, since banking systems are very sensitive, the bank must choose a safe and reliable provider. Okay, what they will do now, they will compare the major providers like Amazon Web Services, Microsoft Azure, and Google Cloud, and each provider offers different service level terms. So the bank evaluates them carefully, and they will compare all the major providers, that is the AWS, Microsoft Azure, and the Google Cloud, and each provider offers different SLA terms so that the bank evaluates them carefully. And next, what they will do is they will check the availability guarantee. That is, this tells how often the service will be available without interruption. For example, 99.9% uptime, that is the service may be down for a few hours per year. Then 99.99% uptime, that is very minimal downtime. Now, why it is important for a bank? Because banking services must available for 24/7, and even small downtime can affect the customers and the transactions. So SLA helps the bank choose a provider with maximum uptime and the reliability. Next is the response time here. So this defines how quickly the system responds to requests. That is, for example, opening an account page should take only a few seconds. Then transaction should process instantly. Now, why it is important? Because the system may get slow and the users may get frustrated, and it can lead to loss of customers and the trust. So SLA ensures the service is fast and efficient. Next is the data security, which explains how safely the customer's data is protected. It includes encryption of the data, then protection from hackers, access control. This is important for a bank because bank handles sensitive financial data, and any breach can cause huge financial and reputational loss. So SLA guarantees strong security measures. Next is the backup policy, where it defines how data is stored and recovered in case of failure. For example, daily or hourly backups, whether it is quick data recovery after the system crash. Now, it is important because it prevents the data loss and ensures the business continuity. So SLA ensures that the data is safe even during the failures. Next is after comparing all these points, the bank chooses the provider with the best SLA and ensures high performance, security, and the reliability. So here, after comparing all these points, the bank chooses the provider with the best SLA here. Then it ensures high performance, security, and the reliability. And SLA is important for customers because it helps compare different service providers, then reduces risk, ensure quality of service, and helps in making the correct and informed decision. So SLA, it is a promise of service quality, and it will compare well and choose well. Next is from the CSP point of view. That is, a cloud service provider cannot always guarantee 100% perfect service due to unexpected situations. So they use service level agreement to set clear limits and protect themselves legally. Now, sometimes the cloud server may fail, or that is it will crash due to hardware problems, software bugs, or overload of users, and the effect will be services may temporarily stop or data access may be delayed. Therefore, the CSP cannot always prevent such issues, so they mention this in the SLA. Next is the natural disaster happens, that is events like earthquakes, floods, fires can damage the data centers, and the effect of this will be complete service disruption, then the data center shutdown. So there are uncontrollable events, so the CSP includes them under the force measure in the SLA. Next comes the internet failure occurs, where the cloud services depend on the internet. Problems may occur due to network outages, ISP failures, cable damage, and the effect of this is users cannot access the cloud services, and CSP may not be responsible if the issue is outside their network. Now, here the SLA clearly states the situations where the CSP is not liable. That is, it includes natural disasters, users' own system failure, then internet issues outside the CSP control. So this protects the CSP from unfair complaints. Now, the SLA clearly states situations where CSP is not liable. It includes the natural disasters, users' own system failure, internet issues outside the CSP control. So this protects the CSP from unfair complaints. Now, next is the maintenance time windows, where the CSP needs the time to update and maintain the systems. It includes software updates, security patches, hardware upgrades, and these are usually scheduled in advance, and it is done during the low usage hours, that is usually the midnight. So during this time, services may be temporarily unavailable, but it is planned and informed. Next comes the downtime limitations, where this SLA defines how much downtime is acceptable. For example, 99.9% uptime, where the limited downtime allowed per year. And if downtime exceeds the limit, CSP may provide compensation. So this helps balance service quality and realistic expectations. Next is SLA protects the CSP legally. That is, from the CSP point of view, SLA defines service limits clearly, then protects against uncontrollable situations, avoids legal disputes, sets realistic expectations for customers. So SLA is nothing but the combination of protection, clarity, trust for both the customer and the provider. So this is about the service level agreement in the cloud computing. Thank you.